Yeah, we got little geckos out here. We don't have any, there's no iguanas out here. You have no iguanas out here. You have no snakes out here. You got large tree rats out here. Lizards? Yeah, little geckos, little lizards out here. Yep. They're all out here. So this is a hot shot furnace here, guys. Basically, I'll explain this thing to you. You have a half moon window on this one side over here, and you can drop cannonballs in on that side. 8-inch cannonballs are the size that they use for this. These little star patterns on the side here are just supports for the rail system that comes down through the middle of this furnace here. And then they come to rest at this far end over here, where on this other side, you have another half moon window over there for pulling them out of. And you have these two little cubby holes here. The top one is for putting combustible material in, and the lower one's for pulling ash out of, for when you're done firing up and stoking the fire instead. And the idea is to heat up these cannonballs until they're piping red hot, and then you pull them out of there. When you pull them out of there, you use a set of tongs. And they have a set of these tongs in that visitor center over there too. You pull them out, you run them out to the first level casemates. The reason for this is, number one, the 8-inch Columbiad cannons are in the first level here. They're going to be the ones that take the 8-inch cannonball. And then also you want a nice low trajectory on that shot. A nice low trajectory that goes, the shot that needs to go just above the water surface, even skipping it off the water. Now the reason for this is because you're trying to embed this cannonball in the hull of a ship. Embedding in the hull of the ship and allowing the outside air to get to it will start a fire in the hull, and now they're not going to be firing their cannons at you anymore. They're going to be trying to put that fire out on their vessel. Now you may actually blow a hole in the hull of the ship, and that's good for a couple reasons. Number one, there's a hole in the hull of the ship. That's not good for floating, so that's going to be a good thing for you. And then also, they keep their powder magazine at the water line on a ship. That's the coolest spot on a ship. So if you do blow a hole through there, there's a good possibility that you're going to blow this cannonball into their powder magazine, and that's a good chance to blow that vessel up. That all being said, wasn't a single shot fired in anger out of this fort. Was never used, never battled out here. There's only one documented incident at this fort, and that was right after the start of the Civil War. See, when the Civil War began, this fort was abandoned for a period of time, so the North and the South could get their heels dug in where they needed to. After that point, the Union decided they needed to reclaim the fort out here, so they sent a group out to reclaim the fort. There were some Confederates also that wanted to claim the fort for the Confederacy, so they sent a group out. The Union got here first. They got themselves established, and then of course, a little later on, a schooner comes sailing around the outside waving the Confederate flag. Now they anchor up on the outside here and send a messenger in with a message for the Union commander. And the message reads, "Surrender the fort to me immediately." Of course, the Union commander then writes another message to send out to the Confederate commander in charge. And that one reads, "Turn your vessel around and leave before I blow you out of the water." The Confederate commander then takes heed to this, and he turns his vessel around and leaves. What he didn't recognize is that while the Union made it out here first, the armaments did not come with the Union. So they didn't have a single cannon mounted in the fort at the time. So it was a bluff, and the bluff did pay off. After that, there were 8 Columbiad cannons that were rushed out from Fort Zachary Taylor. That's the sister fort of this location. Now, I know you guys are probably looking around this thing and thinking, this is the biggest waste of money ever. I don't want you guys to leave thinking that. So while there wasn't a single battle fought out here, the Union did establish naval fleets on the outskirts of this fort and Fort Zachary Taylor. These Navy fleets played a huge role in the blockading of southern forts and ports and disrupting the supply lines for the Confederacy, which played a huge role in the outcome of the Civil War, because the Confederate Army could not advance when they needed to because of the disruption of these supply lines. So it did play a tremendous indirect role in the Civil War. So it's not the biggest waste of money, it's just a tremendous one at that point. So they might have been able to get away with something a little bit cheaper at that point, but who's to say though? Because if they didn't build out here, there's no telling what may have transpired at that point. Then I mean, it could have taken a far different route. The British could have been involved, and you never know. I mean, this would never have been known as America at that point. Then, so you never can tell.
You know what the price tag back in the day was for this?
I have no idea. Not a clue, actually.
That'd be good for your next tour.
It would be good. I should look at exactly what it costs, because there's an estimated 16 million bricks that went into the construction of this place too. So lots of these shipments actually were lost at sea as well. So I can only imagine how much of this has actually been paid for in that sense. And I don't know how many bricks you get on top of one ship, but that's a lot of loads of bricks coming back and forth. So I will look into that, and I'll try to figure out exactly what that number is, because that would be a pretty neat number to come up with, I think, especially with that time frame. Because when you're talking in the millions, easily the tens and tens of millions that it cost for this fort, that's a lot of money back then. So we're going to make our way down over here, guys. I want to walk across these kitchens right here and this curtain magazine and go into one of these, into one of the great space down here. Put the little spot there where we need to be.